Okay, guys,
Like,
we're back.
Forever, right, Bobby?
See, this is
I can't say it in New York.
So this is exactly what I was talking about. We have this issue. Like, I don't know why that fucking cut out. I know Adam's back with us. I need to get out of here so I can get to the live stream that we're actually.
What the fuck? I'm Reverend Aaron.
Somebody turn that shit off. Come on. Events. Boom, boom.
Wait, what?
Okay.
I thought you said SoCal Shan.
I did
Is that
not.
anything?
No, that was somebody was listening.
I just one. Bobby?
Okay.
Oh, that one's awesome. That's me. Yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
We are back.
I don't even have to. It should have eyebrows. Why do these things never draw the eyebrows on? Bobby, I want your eyebrows.
I get my eyebrows done every month.
Mine fell out.
I get them threaded. I get my nose hairs waxed out. I get my eyebrows
I'm
threaded.
afraid to get them tattooed on.
Ah, fuck that. They end up
If
looking
any
nasty.
of
after
our
that.
Hey, Bear.
followers know a person
We had
that does a
questions.
good job to have a crooked forehead.
I
So,
got a crooked fucking face.
Oh shit, that's covering it.
so Major A Bear,
Oh,
Major.
Yes.
We're one of these.
Aaron, I'm sorry.
You might
you
know
lost the program, Aaron.
Whoa. So
Oh, mine's still legal.
So can we- can we focus on doing a live stream?
This is what we do when we lose some feet.
I
And
have
we drive Aaron nuts.
Major A Bear floating through space, ground control to Major A Bear. I have questions all crumpled up in paper here that you and I wrote.
There's a star. Oh,
So
I can't sing.
So the premise was, I wrote a few questions, and you wrote a few questions. I wrote some questions as an anarchist for a communist, and you wrote some
Right.
questions as a communist for an anarchist, and we crumpled them up and we put them in a hat.
Right.
And we tried to make a video out of it, and I kept having technical difficulties for a change. So here
Right.
they are. I still have them. I'm going to grab one.
Oh, nice.
Make
And
America glam again.
Nice. I like
and
that.
this is in your handwriting, A Bear.
See it?
I did grab one of yours. So the first question was, what were the pivotal books for you?
Oh, you're asking me?
That was the question you asked me, actually.
Okay, so do you want to give us your top 5 pivotal books?
Do we have to go with top 5? That's hard.
Top 3?
Top 3.
Top 3?
I'm
Yeah.
gonna go.
Little anti-capitalism books.
No, we'll go through. There's 5 of us here.
Or
Each of us will name our 3. Okay. I think first and foremost, one of the books that still sticks with me till this day is Prometheus Rising by Robert Anton Wilson. I've read that book more than any other. I fucking adore that book. Let's see. Actually, it's not the complete works. The collected works of Friedrich Nietzsche. I think that's what it's called.
When it was up like that, the little thing on your head, like the lollipop killed. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
And third, I would have to go with The Conquest of Bread. I got to go with the bread book. It's got to be in there. But yeah, so I would say Robert Anton Wilson's Prometheus Rising. It's not the collective works. It's not the complete works, but it's a collective works of Friedrich Nietzsche, and then the bread book.
The what?
The bread book from Pyotr Kropotkin. Shannon, 3 books.
We lose A Bear.
No.
Where's the cute little?
Shannon.
I'm back.
Shannon, 3 books.
There's the cute little A Bear. I didn't mean. I forgot what it was.
Shannon,
Rat?
3 books.
3 books? No way. I can't think of names of things. Bobby's ready.
All right, Bobby.
I can do it.
Hey,
I
Hunter.
got books.
All right, Hunter, 3 books. Your 3 pivotal books.
The Bread Book, obviously. What is Property? And
Theft.
I don't really have a third book, but I mean, there's just 2 good books.
So who wrote that? What is Property?
Oh, it wasn't it. Oh my God, he has a weird name.
Proudhon. Pierre Joseph Proudhon. Yeah.
I can't say his name.
Yeah,
I
Pierre
can't
Joseph
speak
Proudhon.
French.
Pierre Joseph Proudhon. What is property? And he said, theft. That was his conclusion.
Theft.
Which I'm assuming Abear has a retort for.
I have no retorts.
No, sorry.
So Bobby
No,
O.
no, no.
Bobby O.
Everybody's books speak to them, like whatever speaks to them, right? And there were times when I would have, my books would have been different, right?
For sure.
When I identified only as an anarchist, as a socialist, but as an anarchist first, anti-capitalist, I had one set of books, but now I think I would have to say Lenin's State and Revolution, What is to be Done, and kind of an odd choice here, I think, given all the stuff that's possible. John Reed's book, 10 Days That Shook the World. And for people who don't know, if you don't want to read Trotsky's 7,000 word or 7,000 page history of the Russian Revolution, you can read a 300 page or 200 page paperback from John Reed, who is an American reporter who went to Russia at the time of the revolution. And you might have seen the movie with Warren Beatty, Reds. He played John Reed.
Yeah.
So I think that 10 Days That Shook the World really put a different spin and a different perspective on what all of this is about and how revolutions are made. And then State and Revolution brought my understanding up quite a bit, and what is to be done as well. The other ones, all the anarchists, the books you were talking about, all good and well. But since I've kind of moved, I've moved into the more dialectical materialist realm. It's harder for me to look at some of the anarchist writings and feel like it's as helpful as the other stuff that I mentioned.
No, you just haven't read enough Malatesta yet. Yeah, I just need to read a little more Malatesta.
I've never read any Malatesta.
See, I think you would adore him. But
Did he help shape a revolution that changed the world?
he was involved in literally everything that we talk about constantly about throughout history. He was there, bro. He was there.
He was there. Okay.
No, he was. No, it's a
I couldn't even tell you what decade, so I don't even know what century or decade. I know the name from you, but that's all I know. So
well,
one of these days I'll
1853 to 1932.
Thank you.
pretty proper fucking era to be writing socialist
so
works, you know.
basically lived
Militant
the same part
socialist
as
works.
Trotsky.
Yeah. I lost my e-cig, so Bobby, I'm gonna go find it, but I'm gonna be listening. I want to hear your 3 books.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna be a little different and like pick books that aren't necessarily like political ideology books.
I have
would
a
say
degree too.
The first book that like ever like had an impact on me as a little kid, Of Mice and Men. Like that book,
No, that's
I
a
read
good one.
that.
John Steinbeck. I read that. I must have been 10, 11 years old, and that just had a profound
My
impact on me.
dad suggested it to me. I was like 12 or 13.
That book just, I mean, it's been years since I read it, but just that entire story just was like, it just touched me. So like, I would go with that. Do Androids Dream of Electronic Sheep
Right.
by Philip K. Dick, which most people know is the book that inspired Blade Runner,
Right.
post-apocalyptic. Third book. Should I be really cliche and say A Game of Thrones?
Yeah. Song of Ice and Fire?
Yeah, like, well, that's 5 books.
The Bible?
The Bible.
Inspired me not to be a Christian?
But really. But Mice and Men is definitely the first book that made me love to read and made me, like want to read books and like just want to get like lost in the story. Catcher in the Rye.
Amelia Bedelia was the first book. No, maybe it was Cat in the Hat, but definitely in.
I think the first book I read was The Hobbit when I was in 3rd grade. Like the
So
first.
it's one of my favorite books, The Hobbit.
I think I read that like like in 3rd grade I did a book report on The Hobbit when like everybody else in my class was doing book reports on the Berenstein Bears.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say like that. I was always a science fiction reader. Reading political books is like definitely new to me. Like after speaking to Aaron, I got into like the Bread Book and Malatesta.
Good.
So
Yeah, I would definitely say of Mice and Men, Do Androids Dream of Electronic Sheep, and The Song of Ice and Fire just has so many layers to it, and it touches on so many social issues. Like it's like beyond just being like a sword and sorcerer,
Right.
math type.
Oh, yeah,
The
it's
story
very
the own TV show makes it out to be.
Yeah.
There's definitely a lot of layers of like social issues and like historical influence like throughout those books.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Shan, you said you did have some books now? Shan, did I hear you say?
Yeah, the Diary of Anne Frank. My
Definitely.
parents always bought me a book for Christmas, but I think she did. That was my 13th birthday. 13. I was 13 when it was Christmas. Jeez, sorry. It's been a long few days, you guys.
Sure.
And this, anyway. That was a game changer for me. And that was when I was getting into punk rock and the Nazi shit, and it just affected me. And I had a neighbor who had a tattoo on her arm in Long Beach, and I asked my mom, and she told me the truth. So I knew, but reading that book just put it in a whole different perspective. And I mean, her writing that diary all those years was risky fucking business. And it still did not end well.
No.
Anyway.
Shall we do another question?
There's that one.
Oh, go ahead. You have more. Sorry. Go ahead.
I have a couple other.
Please.
I forgot. The Day No Pigs Would Die is another one my dad suggested that I like.
I remember that. Yeah.
God darn it. What was the other one? Oh, I don't know if people know, but I used to have a lot of poetry books too. My dad likes poetry a lot. So does my mom. Jim Morrison, and I can't remember the name of
Lords
the
and the New
specific one.
Creatures. Lords and the New Creatures
And-
was Jim Morrison's book.
Excuse me. I don't know. It's actually a paper. It's not a book, but it's Dorothy Parker when she was in Spain and her perspective.
Okay.
If you Google it, you probably could find it. Just put her name in Spain.
Sure.
Possibly.
Excellent.
So that was it.
So you have books. Yay! We all have books that we like. And I just want to say I didn't bring. I'm seeing the handwriting on this paper, Aber, and it's your handwriting again. So I want to find, since yours was the last question, I'm going to ask mine. Looks like we lost Bobby.
Wait, did Hunter say his books?
Yeah.
Yeah, I said.
Oh, where the fuck was I?
He said the Book of Mormon, and he said that he has a lot of Watchtower tracts that he collects, and anyway.
I was going to say the book of Job and the book of Romans 2, I think, maybe.
So the question that I had for you, Aber,
Okay.
some 6 or 8 months ago was, is it normal for oath keepers to have sex with their weapons?
Like my loud truck guy had sex with his tailpipe.
And I just want to say, it looks like Bobby left the chat. Oh, his cell phone died. Much love to you, Bobby. Thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight, man. Thank you so much that you're doing.
Why does it say don't smile?
So
What the hell is going on? Who's changing my stuff?
I don't know.
So,
The question
Aaron,
is on the table.
Aaron,
Is it normal for Oath Keepers to have sex with their weapons?
I don't think it's normal for Oath Keepers to have sex. So, by definition, having sex with their weapons
They're all incels.
is not normal.
Wouldn't it be more advantageous for us if they focused all their sexual activity on weapons and not people, and then they were unable to procreate?
Look, I don't want to sex shame anybody.
No, fuck a gun. Seriously, if you like fucking guns, fuck that gun. Like, just get all in that gun. I'm serious. I'm serious.
Right on the trigger.
No, really, if you love
Yeah.
fucking guns, dude, fuck it. Like, own it and just jam the shit out of that fucking weapon, man. Like, let it have it. Let it know do your thing. But
Yeah, I demand. I would respectfully ask for a different question from you.
okay, I didn't pick it on purpose. That was the question I unfolded. Okay. All right. Okay, I think this is this is a good one. Is it okay to use cuck as an insult?
Here's why I don't. Here's why I don't. And if other people want to use it, they're welcome to. But I find that when you adopt the language of the enemy like that, I mean, nobody used cuck. Nobody used it until the far right, alt-right started using it. And so when we use that language, what we're doing is we're legitimizing their existence. We're adopting their language, and it's kind of telling. I mean, I don't know any really serious revolutionaries that use that language.
Me either.
And so yeah, you're goofing around. Maybe you're with your friends, and maybe you make a joke. Yeah, but I think these are serious. You know, it's serious. These are serious enemies, and I think the fewer things we can do that legitimizes them or gives them any kind of acknowledgement past, they're going to be there this Saturday, we're mobilizing against them. But yeah, using the language, I don't think it's useful. So that's my serious answer.
I
And my
don't
final
either.
answer.
Go ahead, Shannon.
It's like the live T word.
Exactly. Don't use the T word.
I see.
It's not cool.
It's not okay. It's never
Exactly.
right.
Even when I quote them as calling me the libT word, what I say is, even though they've used the other one, I can't do it. And listen, I'm a person who said fuck.
They're ninnies and twits.
I said that word for a long time. I used that.
I did too, bro.
Look, like fucktard. That was a word I used a lot,
I know.
man.
Me too.
For a long time.
I had a discussion with a family member years ago because that's what my child was called in school, is the R word.
Right.
And he's not.
Right.
So, yeah, it wasn't okay, and I stopped saying it. I mean, I'm human and have slipped up or whatever.
Sure, of course.
I haven't said that word
Not
since I was in
something
like
I do.
second grade.
Yeah.
Well, you're in a better generation for that stuff, Hunter. I think your generation is, for the most part, realized. Why are you dissing people with special needs and real life
And
issues?
even special needs is ableist.
I know it is. I don't know what the
People
words.
with
Thank you.
disabilities, They
Thank
have
you. Thank you.
disabilities. It's just.
Okay. I appreciate that. No, thank you.
It's fun. I had to too. Look, I've been. It's a process.
But the point being is that, like, calling a fascist a tard is relating people who have abilities to being fascist. Like, by nature, like, if you have issues, that you're somehow the same thing as a fascist. And here's the other thing, too. The fascists aren't insane. They're not crazy. This
No,
is
they're
very
bullies.
clear-eyed,
They're
methodical fucking planning. This is very, like, they understand what they're doing. It's not like, it's very reactionary, yes, right? But it's not like some whimsical fucking, you know, like, progressives are really guilty of this. When they see fascist behavior, it's like, man, did you see the crazy shit that Trump did today? And I'm going, no, that's not crazy. What that is what capitalists do. That's what capitalism does. This is methodical. This is thought out.
People give
This
him
is
credit
mindful.
for.
You know? And
Agreed, Shannon.
Ripped off a lot of fucking people for many years and gotten away with it, hasn't he?
Yep.
There you go.
so,
Next question.
did Hunter, did you have any thoughts on the cuck question?
Yeah, well, in my generation, that word's been around longer than, like, I would say longer than the alt-right. Like, when Trump was elected, like, I was using that word in, like, middle school, because we were just buddies and we were just messing around and stuff.
Well,
but I mean, like,
cuck or the tard word?
cuck.
Okay.
Cuck. Yeah. I mean, we know what it means, but obviously, like, we just did to joke around with each other. Paid no mind to it, you know?
Word. Well, and my thoughts on it are, you know, there's differing ideas on what the actual definition of a cuck is, and all of them. If you're that person who has, I don't know, there might be people who like that. And I just don't even see it as an insult anyway. I don't see the behavior that's being belittled as being anything troublesome. If that's what all parties enjoy and that's their thing, like, whatever. So I'm just not into it.
I used to always tell.
And I also, well, let me say, and I also don't like, I don't use it. I don't call alt-right people cucks, just like I don't call them bitches. I don't call men bitches, and to me, cuck is very, very reminiscent of that word, and it's sexual behavior.
Women are called bitches to dismiss them.
Right. So it's like both of these words are associating some type of sexual behavior with belittlement, like. And or gender with being belittled, and like, why not? You know, if you really want to insult somebody and really bring them down, attack specifically what it is about them that deserves to be critiqued. Like, you know, if you're gonna, I have no problem with name calling. I call people dumb fucking pieces of shit all the fucking time because I think that's an accurate word. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah, drinking bleach there, telling me to drink bleach is cool. Yeah. That's fine. That's physically acceptable.
Say, fuck off, you ignorant twit, or something like that.
Fuck off, Nazi scum. Right. You know.
Right. I got no problem with that, but like because
people off, I just usually say fuck off.
And I think that, like, look,
simple.
what cuck tries to imply very disgustingly is bootlicker. And I think bootlicker is, because what cuck is saying is that you're being subservient to another, and so you're not a strong-willed, independent, take charge type person, and you're this thing that lets other people dominate you. And I don't see that as being a problem, but when you put it in relation to the state and letting others oppress you from power, you're a fucking bootlicker. So, yeah.
That makes that, like,
I just
the same term, but one's better than the other.
Yeah. And just to reiterate and move on before I move on to this last question is that or next question. Fuck taking the words of the alt-right. Fuck taking words that fascists use and using it against them. The far right uses cultural appropriation. We are creative, imaginative, forward-thinking people on the left. We don't need their bullshit to facilitate our ideas, man.
Absolutely agree. Absolutely.
We'll come up with new words.
Fucking A. and rip them off, and we'll laugh at them. Let's not, but yeah, they don't deserve it. So this is a question in your handwriting, Bear.
Oh dear.
It says, how you gonna beat capitalism or capitalist imperialism without being a part of a well-organized anti-capitalist organization?
Yeah, how are you going to beat capitalism?
Right.
On your own. On your own.
Easy.
Oh yeah, easy. That's about
Yeah,
it.
with my fist. Gonna punch the capitalists.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, this is like, I think about it, Hunter, like, all right, I don't know, maybe it's, you want to take this, I mean, what do you think the best way to go about winning? Because that's what we're talking about. How are we going to win?
I mean, in all honesty, the best way to win would be to unite. And if you're trying to do it alone, there's no way one person can do it alone. It has to be a big effort. But your question is, how do you go about it without, being in an organization? And I think that's impossible. Like, you have to have people with you.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And this is, I was kind of throwing out earlier, and it's probably going to be a reoccurring theme when I come on your show, Aaron, is because I really feel strongly that being with other committed people working on talking through the issues, working on things collectively, when you're part of a cadre, you are committed to each other.
That's right.
And so when you say you're going to be there at 5:00, you're going to be there at 5, not 5:30,
right?
Not 6:15, right? When you say you're going to get the signs made, or you get the layout done for the paper, or you're going to
Hold on.
use.
Hey, Bear.
Sure.
I think the stream stopped. We're back on. We're
Okay,
good.
it looks, yeah.
Okay.
So it's really, to me, it's really important. I know when I'm sitting in a room full of comrades and we talk about some upcoming thing, whether it's going to Philly to pack the courthouse for Mumia, or to go to Charlottesville, or, starting a new branch in Texas, whatever we're doing, making signs, doing jail support, fundraiser, whatever, when people raise their hands and say, I'm going to do this, I got that covered, I'll make the Facebook event, when people say it, we can feel really comfortable and really confident that that's going to happen. And I haven't felt that way in other situations. Aaron occupied Reno, had a lot of great lessons, but, it's a little different level of commitment, little different level of seriousness, and a little different level of performance and execution. So this is why I and so to worry, I want to if I could address something Adam in the chat raised earlier.
Okay.
Because it kind of goes to this. So Adam is not in favor of Marxist-Leninist groups, and doesn't want to join a fight because he's afraid he's going to get stabbed in the back after the revolution. And it's something that people on Left Book say. It's something I've said. It's something I learned on Left Book. It's something I learned to repeat. It's completely irrelevant to what's going on today. With all the shit that's going on in the world, in this country, the mass incarceration, the attack on women's reproduction rights, just like, I don't have to go down the list, right? With all of that that's happening, to be worried about or even thinking about how somebody's going to treat you specifically after the revolution if you don't agree with their program, is, quite frankly, it's just nonsense.
Okay, well,
It's not gonna,
look.
it's not, please, let me.
Okay.
Please.
Because I have plenty to say, as you know.
It's not helpful. It's not gonna happen in your lifetime.
Right.
You have no control over it. And so my advice is to just let that shit go. Okay, some Marxist-Leninist stabbed another Marxist-Leninist that helped with the revolution in the back. Okay, well, sorry, man. That's 100 fucking years ago. We have stuff to do, right? And I just would urge everybody to join an organization and pitch in where you fit in.
Okay, so
If you don't fit in, fine. But
may I?
don't go to the other end telling people,
Right.
oh, don't join that Marxist Leninist, they're a bunch of Stalinists. It's a garbage left book position that I used to have, that a lot of people learned on left book.
Okay, so my turn on my show. So check it out. This is a very legitimate topic of concern, and I think Aber would agree. I'm not. Adam Rainstopper is not wrong to point out that this division exists, because it does. And I, as a dyed-in-the-fucking-wool anarchist, who one of my very closest friends, Aber, who's a communist, will attest to, I'm not budging from this anarchist position. It's where I'm at. I'm at 48 years old. I'm pretty fucking solid in it. But what I do understand about this, what the communists did and the anarchists did in the revolution, is that, communists today have read that history also. And from what I have found in talking to many communists in different parties and in different blocs, that they all agree that serious fucking mistakes were made. And they do not agree with those mistakes that were made. And I'm not going to get into any of those specifics, because then that just opens up a fucking hornet's nest of division and fighting. And what I will wholeheartedly assert is that I do differ from Aber on this. I think we're going to see this fucking revolution. I think it's happening. I think we're in it, and I think capitalism is about to die, and the big choices are right here, right now, in front of us. But I also think that there's a long way to go, and we don't have the infrastructure to really pull this off yet. But I do believe wholeheartedly that when it gets down to it, and we get to that fucking moment of truth, where historically in these revolutions, where there was these murderous, fucking bloody divisions between anarchists and communists, we will not have those divisions again. What we will have a division over and kill people over is who killed each other 100 fucking years ago. This is ridiculous, Aber. This is a ridiculous argument, because this is the only division between us. If we have this revolution, communists and anarchists will, I believe this, unite in solidarity for the emancipation of all people and the elimination of capitalism. We want this together. Our only divisions are what anarchists and communists did 100 fucking years ago. This is our only division. I believe this, man, and it's just bullshit. And this is a primary premise of what Punks for Progress is built on, and what we're doing is giving a platform to all socialists, because we need to have these discussions now. Otherwise, we will just fucking shoot each other in frustration, because we have not analyzed this, we have not blocked up with each other, we have not found our points of connection, because they are abundant, our points of connection. Our points of division are what happened 100 years ago. Seriously, man, we got to get over this.
Right.
We got to get over this.
There are plenty of points of division within the socialist communities right now. There are socialists who are called U.S. toppling of Assad. there are socialists who thought it was okay that NATO bombed and destroyed the entire country of Libya, right? They call themselves socialists, yet they were on the side, objectively on the side of imperialism. And all, these are tricky. They're not tricky if you've been around for a while and been in it, but different tendencies have different outlooks, and just because you have socialists in the name doesn't necessarily mean you are one, right? And so having these discussions, if you want to have, different tendencies, argue their shit, they can do that. I'm not interested in doing that, right? I don't. I've had those discussions online and in real life. I've made my choice, and I respect anybody who shows up and does the work. But to get in arguments about, it's pretty fucking clear to me, if you're demonizing the DPRK, if you're demonizing Cuba, if you're demonizing Iran, if you're demonizing Syria, if you're demonizing any country that doesn't bow down to the IMF, to NATO, to the World Bank, to Amazon, Pepsi Cola, Citibank, if you're demonizing somebody who doesn't want to play ball, who wants to be independent, have an independent course set for themselves apart from the United States and Europe, if you're demonizing them, you are objectively on the side of U.S. imperialism and capitalism, and therefore you are not an actual socialist, anti-capitalist, anti-imperialist. I think it's pretty clear. However, other people have their opinions, and we can't stop someone from using the term socialist. If Bernie Sanders wants to claim, whatever, man, but he's still going to vote for all that war budget and all that money to go to Israel to kill the Palestinians, to exterminate the Palestinians. So he can call himself whatever kind of socialist he wants, but it doesn't fucking count in my book, because I think it's pretty clear. But nobody comes to politics fully formed. Nobody. So, having everything's dialectic, and there's just things change, and you can't know everything all the time. I have perfect knowledge of this is exactly what it is, but you can know that everything changes over time, and you can just understand that people claim the mantle and aren't the real thing. People claim to be anarchists who are not anarchists.
So what I want to say is, because Adam Rainstopper is not on this live stream and doesn't have the opportunity, to properly retort, I guess the least I could do is, you know what? I want to play his latest song.
Yeah, play that song.
Yeah, and I haven't been reading your comments in here, bro. It's hard for me to do that when we're doing the stuff, but
yeah.
I just want to acknowledge you have not been given a proper opportunity to retort, and I really like Rainstopper a lot, and I think he would have valid, respectful fucking retorts and shit, and he doesn't get that opportunity. So the least we can do
is play his song.
Let's play his fucking song.
And to be fair, he asked me his messages before we lost the last stream, and I only saw a little bit of it, and it was those same kind of arguments that I used to make. He's saying things that I used to say to other people, and so I understand his fear, and I understand his worry that I'm actually in a communist organization. I go to the meetings. I pay my dues. I'm on a list. All that shit. These are not scary people. These are not scary.
I'm more afraid
right?
of the capitalists in charge and what they'll do to us just for supporting our communist, anarchist, and socialist brothers and sisters. And workers of the world,
Exactly. Every day.
For fuck's sake, right?
Every day.
Large native indigenous movements throughout the world always has been, but
So to be worried about what's going to happen after the collapse of the empire, who knows? I mean, none of us know how that's going to turn out, and to be worried about that and want to
I
argue
think
about
we'll
that
be all
is,
right.
I'm just kind of done with it. Well, I'm not done with it, obviously, because
It's an ongoing struggle, man.
As a
yeah,
Solidarity is not
as-
easy, and it's called struggle for a fucking reason, man.
you think?
But- This is Adam Rainstopper.
Wait, what was Hunter gonna say real quick?
Oh yeah.
Oh.
I was gonna say, as an anarcho-communist, I'm basically down with anybody who's ready to defeat capitalism. It's just really simple.
Yes.
All right, so this
Yes.
is
Ruins everything.
Really simple.
this is all the hypocrisy and open letter to Jimmy Reefer Cake. So he did this video because Sam Cedar talks a lot about Tulsi Gabbard and her serious problems, and one of his Adam Rainstopper and Jimmy Reefer Cake have collaborated on a few songs that get played on the Majority Report a lot, and
Nice.
and so Rainstopper, because Reefer Cake recently has been going off on this really kind of strange tangent in support of Tulsi and hating on the MR report because of their criticisms of her, but he doesn't actually listen to their criticisms of her. He just wants to cultishly support her. And Rainstopper's like, dude, I've been collaborating with you, and now I have to separate myself from you because you're posting videos on this weird tangent stuff, and like, so his response was this fucking song, and it's really fucking cool, but the music great as well.
Trotsky and Lenin, they had to split too, you know.
She wants legal weed.
Tulsi Gabbard's running for president.
You should give us my question.
Yeah, fucking
Hey,
Adam
Aaron,
Rainstopper.
Aaron, can
Yes,
you
sir.
hear me?
Yes, I can.
So, when you play songs,
Uh-huh.
it fades in and out in my headphones. I can't really hear it at all.
Uh-huh.
Is it because the microphone?
It has something, yeah, it's our connection on during the stream. Like when it hits, it doesn't do that if you're like watching it.
It what?
Like if you're watching the live stream, it doesn't cut out like that. Here's the thing, like if if you're talking or if you make noise and stuff while the song is playing, it'll quiet like it'll quiet the song. Yeah,
Gotcha.
you get it. So yeah, that was Adam Rainstopper, who we just spent the last half hour just shitting all over. No, we weren't.
This is not a personal thing.
Right.
Because there's nothing Adam has said that I haven't. He has not taken a position that I have not taken. And my position is different now because instead of just listening to the anarchists, I started listening to the communists and different stripes of communists, all the different tendencies, going to their meetings.
Well, let me make this distinction. Please let me do this. Please let me make this distinction because it's based on what I saw him say in the chat, and I think he deserves to be, at least my interpretation of his voice be heard. Was that, and I think that it's just in your framing, and I would venture to say you wouldn't intend to frame it as such. But what I hear him saying is that, like, oh, okay, so when you were younger, you thought like me, and now that you're all older and more learned, you've gone communist. And I don't think that's your intention because look, you are a little older than I am, and you have ultimately gone the way of communism. I continue to read, and I haven't read a whole lot of Lenin yet. I've read some, and believe me, it's in the shelf, and I want to read a lot more. But for me, I don't see the word communism ever taking hold in who I am.
That's fine.
You see what I'm saying? And I know you're fine with that. And I don't think that you're telling Adam Rainstopper that he needs to become a communist. You're just saying in your personal learning, in your not evolution necessarily, but in your process of learning.
Yeah, I mean, I voted for Reagan 40 years ago. So
right.
Yeah,
so it is an evolution. But that's not to say that, because look, to take serious umbrance with the notion that if you continue to evolve as a leftist, you'll ultimately become a communist. I don't agree with that. You will ultimately become some version of socialist that really makes the most sense to you. And if you get to a point, if you have not evolved in your understanding to a point where you feel points of contention and agreement with anarchists and communists, then I question your evolution. Because there are, just like I said earlier, or I think I actually yelled it, is that there are just myriad points of contention between us as anarchists and communists that just far dwarf any types of divisions that we would otherwise have. And I would feel like Hebert's, where exactly he needs to be in his evolution and understanding is a leftist.
Where I need to be.
Right. And where I am as an anarchist is like, I've joined. I have a red card, I got into the Occupy, I've joined different punk rock crews, I have patches and shit, and I'm done with that. I don't want to join. I really wanted to start a thing that is my socialist anarchist vision, and that's P4P. So people are welcome to hook up with us and be a punk for progress. Or they can join Workers' World Party. Or they can check out their local branch of the IWW. And you know what, man? A lot of anarchists don't like hearing this shit, but you want to block up with Refuse Fascism? Fuck yeah, block up with Refuse Fascism, man. Because I've stood toe-to-toe to them with fascists, man. I know anarchists got issue with them. You need to fucking get over it. Because they're out there all the time. Yep. If you have specific fucking critiques of the way they behave at a march, go ahead.
But see, here we go with organizing in the street. The very first women's march, I hooked up with Refuse Fascism. And I must say that I've met some of the most beautiful people, and that's when I got what happened in the 20s all the way throughout the fucking 60s, really, but mainly 50s, with the, were you ever a member of the Communist Party? Communists are always the big demons, the boogeymen under the bed. They're always demonized.
What's up, Mr. Black?
Always.
Just wanted to say, hey, you made it.
So, yeah, I learned a lot from my communist friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
And
Pitch in where you fit in, man.
I
You know, find your spot.
Or refuse fascism is always there.
It's just like,
My beautiful friends
Look-
are at the border, you know, hanging those fucking 100-feet signs,
right.
risking arrest. They've been arrested, shutting down the fucking freeway and shit. I didn't even know about that, and I was just in a march in LA with them 2 days before, and I'm like, what the fuck? I woke up, turned on fucking Facebook, and there they were.
And so here, look, I'll put it like this. It's like, first and foremost, solidarity. Second
Yep.
rule of the struggle, solidarity, right? First rule is solidarity. Second rule is fucking solidarity, okay? And then I would say, it's not the third rule, but a rule that I would add somewhere in there is that
Support system.
it's okay to not agree with the base premise of this group and that group. That's okay. Just don't join. You know, but find a group that does, fit a lot of your shit and join up. And then and when you're organizing with that group that you chill with and are down with, and they're down with you, maybe organize a march with those other guys that weren't a fit for you. They weren't the right fit for you, but they're still struggling for fucking immigrant rights. Like organizing a march with your fucking crew for immigrant rights, and so are they. So why not,
Work together.
Yeah.
yeah. So, Aaron,
And you don't, and then lastly, and just because they don't work for you doesn't mean that they have to now be the enemy and you have to talk shit on them. And this comes back to the first two rules of solidarity. Like, man, you got to have their back. They're the leftists. They're under attack from the same fascist capitalist fucking powers that you are.
Yeah.
We got to have each other's back, man.
I was just gonna add, like, I think anybody who wants to make a better world, do it. I'm really fond of saying, pitch in where you fit in. Some people are joiners. Some people are not. People have lives, reasons, all sorts of things they've got to take care of. It keeps them from doing this and that. And I would always rather people contribute to something rather than argue about something that really, doesn't, arguing about history and all of that. It's just much more important to add value and help. I think the main reason that I joined the party, this particular party, is because my job is to help intervene whenever there are cracks in the ruling class united front, right? Whenever there's cracks, we want to be able to be in a position where we can interject and intervene. And if people get in motion and maybe they don't have a direction, we want to be able to intervene and see if we can influence them, further to the left. We want to be the left pole. So when we go to a pink hat march, we want to be on the left pole of that and see it's not co-opting. It's not like we have that kind of power, right?
Right.
But, you bring in literature and you pass it out and you have conversations and you try to raise the consciousness of the people that you meet. And really, we won't have an actual revolt and rebellion and revolution until more consciousnesses are raised, until more people start thinking in terms of, oh, socialism good, capitalism bad, right? I mean, so this is a long process, and getting bogged down and arguing about this or that from years gone by is not helpful. And I'd rather not do it. So I'm seriously not trying to shit on
It
it.
alienates people.
Yeah.
And And as
So-
much as, you know, you want to vent, sometimes things just get
Sometimes.
frustrating, and they can, and you get like,
Right, so Shannon, it's multiplying and adding, not dividing and
Right.
subtracting. That's what I'm about, that's what, you know, the people that I work with are about. Multiplying and adding to this movement left, right, subtraction and division. And that's all I've got to say about that.
Yeah. And you know what? I think we should probably get to wrapping it up since we actually have the opportunity to do that for the
this
first
was
time
the
this
longest
week.
show ever, huh?
No, we really did it. We're actually going to be able to fucking close it out and everything. And I really
Just
fucking
when
love
we
you
were
guys.
talking about-
Really, I love you guys. I need to say hello to Fuck the World All Day, to Adam Rainstopper, to Maximo Moss, Mr. Black, everybody for joining us. Fuck, this has been really awesome, man. We're gonna be here Sunday, and but we will be here Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 7 to 9 Pacific time. Maybe on Fridays we'll go a little long because this was fun. But
It was fun. Thank you for patching me in here.
this is a cat, goes by the name of Joe Jackson,
Oh, I like Little Joe.
and this is a
Does he look
song.
sharp?
This is a song he did called "Breaking Us in Two," and I just think
I love this song.
it's kind of apropos for our
Why does it
discussion.
make me cry when I'm ready to go
I
to
know.
bed?
I just think it's apropos for our discussion, and anyway. Pico the Bear, thank you. Hunter Red and Black, thank you. SoCal Shannon, thank you. Bobby O, thank you for hanging with us. Mike Gams, please make sure to follow Mike Gams on Twitter. And much love. Fuck capitalism. Here's Joe Jackson.
Let's hear it.
Classic song.
Don't you feel like breaking out of breaking us into? You don't do the things I like. You wanna do things I can't do. Always something breaking us into.
I got 2 baked potatoes in the oven waiting for me.
You and I could never live
Where did you guys go?
Don't you feel like breaking out just one day on your own? Why does what I'm saying hurt you? I didn't say that we were always something breaking us in.
Hey, Mark. Say hey to your niece for us. Thanks for everybody watching. Much love. Fuck capitalism.